decided not to stay there for long, so I went downtown and did some shopping instead.
2.
Have you been to the zoo yet, Sylvia?
Yes, I have.
It's different from a lot of zoos, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone. I love the way the animals aren't in small cages. They're all in big, open spaces, so they have plenty of space to move around.
So you had a nice time there?
Yes, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. One of the best zoos I've ever been to. But you need a whole day to see everything. I wish I'd gotten there earlier.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it so much. I like it too.
3.
Have you been to the Science Museum yet, Karen?
Yeah, I went there on Sunday.
What did you think?
They have some great displays there, and I like the activities they have for kids because they're interactive. The kids can touch them and try things out. I learned a lot.
Did you see the space rocket?
No, I didn't have time. There was so much to see that I found a morning wasn't enough time. You really need a whole day to see everything. I'd suggest you try it.
I will. Thanks.
4.
What did you think of the night market?
Well, I wasn't very impressed, to be honest. I wouldn't suggest it to anyone.
Oh, why is that?
Well, it was very hot and crowded. I wouldn't suggest going there at night.
Yeah, it's always crowded then.
And sure, the prices were really cheap, but I didn't see anything I wanted to buy. It was mainly lots of t-shirts and the usual tourist stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And the quality of the stuff wasn't very good either. I didn't really think it was worth a visit.
Positive recommendation. What did you think of it? I'd recommend it to anyone. What did you think of it?
I'd suggest you try it.
What did you think of it?
It's a good place to try.
Negative recommendation. What did you think of it?
I wouldn't recommend it.
What did you think of it?
I wouldn't suggest it to anyone.
What did you think of it? It's not worth trying.
I was thinking of visiting the botanical gardens. What are they like?
Really nice. In fact, I suggest you go tomorrow. It should be a beautiful day.
2.
Is the river cruise worth doing? I thought I might try it.
Actually, I wouldn't recommend it. It's a bit boring and very expensive.
3.
What's the museum downtown like? I usually enjoy visiting museums.
I'd certainly recommend it. It's worth spending at least a morning there.
4.
Have you ever been to the night market? What's it like?
I wouldn't suggest it. It's very crowded and noisy.
5. How is the zoo here? Is it any good?
It's a good place for an afternoon. It has some great exhibits.
6.
Would you recommend a visit to the Science Museum?
It's not worth it, really. Too many school groups, I'm afraid.
What's public transportation like in your city, Mario?
Well, I travel quite a lot by train, and frankly, the train service isn't very good.
Really? What's wrong with it?
Well, the trains are pretty old and not very clean. I hate sitting on the seats. They really ought to get some new trains. And the service isn't very reliable. Sometimes the trains are a half hour late.
Is that right? Could you ride the bus instead?
Yes, the bus system is much better. You don't have to wait too long before your bus comes along.
Do you ever take taxis?
Not if I can avoid it. They're very expensive, and the drivers are often terrible. They drive too fast, and they're not very polite.
2. Tell us about public transportation in your city, Aran.
Well, we have a new subway system that's really good. They're always on time and they're air-conditioned.
Is it expensive?
Not really. I use it all the time.
What about the buses?
Well, actually, they need to do something about the bus service. Most of the buses are about 20 years old and they're not air-conditioned. They tend to be very crowded as well.
What about taxis?
Our taxis are pretty good. They're cheap and easy to get on the streets. They're very clean, too.
3. How is the transportation system where you live, Ivan?
Well, I live in a very big city. Most people use the subway because it's very convenient. It's old, but it's very reliable. The trains are always on time, and they're clean, even though thousands of people use them every day. The city really maintains them well.
Do you ever take taxis?
No, I don't take them very often. It costs a lot to take a taxi, and you usually get stuck in traffic, so there's not much point in it. Also, most of the taxis are very old and not very comfortable.
Is there a good bus system?
Well, there are plenty of buses, but they're always very crowded. And again, like the taxis, they often get caught in traffic jams, so you never know when you're going to arrive at your destination.
Traffic congestion is a huge problem in many cities around the world. The noise and air pollution are harmful to the environment, and the lost time spent sitting in cars takes its toll on people too. However, in early 2003, the City of London decided to take a different kind of toll and combat this problem. It's the congestion zone toll, and so far it's a huge success. The plan is simple. A 13-kilometre area in the centre of London has been designated a congestion zone. The zone has 174 entrance and exit points and is surrounded by 688 cameras at 203 locations. When a car drives into the zone, one of the cameras takes a picture of the car's license plate number. The camera immediately sends a signal to the automatic plate recognition computer system in central London. The computer identifies the car, and the owner is charged the congestion toll for that day, about $15. This is a one-time charge for the day. It doesn't matter how long the car is in the zone or how many times it's photographed. The car's owner can pay the toll in several ways. Online, by cell phone text messaging, at a self-service machine, by phone, or at one of the over 200 retailers within the zone and 10,000 others nationwide. If the toll isn't paid by 10 p.m. that day, a $4 fine is added on, and if it's not paid by midnight, the toll goes up to $180. The results are hard to argue with. There has been a 20% drop in traffic congestion, and travel times within the zone have decreased by 5%. An added benefit of the toll is that the money collected is used for public transportation projects. The City of London expects to raise $2.2 billion over a 10-year period. The mayors of Paris, New York and Tokyo are said to be watching this plan very closely. The congestion toll may be coming to your city soon.
They really ought to get some new trains.
They need to do something about the bus service.
I think they should get newer buses.
I think it would be good if they got new buses.
They shouldn't use such old buses.
I think the problem is the ones we have here are too small. They don't carry enough passengers. They need to get bigger ones that can carry more people.
2. They should put in more traffic lights. That would help reduce congestion.
3.
They need to have more women drivers. Why are most of the drivers men?
4. It shouldn't be so difficult for disabled people to get on buses. 5.
It would be good if they widened the streets, especially downtown. Some of them are only 1 lane wide.
6. They ought to stop people from parking motorcycles on them. Sometimes there's hardly enough room for pedestrians.